Today, we're going to dive into a legal case that's more than 100 years old. But believe it or not, its fingerprints are all over almost every single movie you watch and book you read. It's a wild story about how one tiny accident completely changed the world of entertainment.
So, let me ask you this right off the bat. Do you think you can totally ruin someone's reputation purely by accident? I mean, without even knowing that person exists? It sounds kind of crazy, right? Well, the answer to that question is exactly what makes this whole story so incredible.
All right, so to get this, we've got to go way back. Our story kicks off not in some stuffy courtroom, but right in the pages of a newspaper, all the way back in 1908.
So picture this. It's 1908. A really popular paper called the Sunday Chronicle runs this fun, gossipy article from its correspondent over in Paris. The whole piece is about this glamorous motor racing festival in Dieppe, France. It was meant to be light, funny, just some harmless entertainment about a completely made-up character.
Now, this fictional guy, Artemus Jones, was described as this very proper church warden from a place called Peckham. But the article paints this picture of him living it up in France with a woman who was definitely not his wife. For the newspaper, this was just a bit of a laugh, a cheeky story about a character they literally just invented.
Okay, but here's where the story takes a massive turn. Because this fictional character, he was about to have a very, very real impact on an actual person's life. And what has to be one of the craziest coincidences ever, Artemus Jones wasn't entirely fictional. There was a real man out there named Thomas Artemus Jones. And for him, this silly little story was about to turn into a total nightmare.
So who was this guy? Well, Thomas Artemus Jones was a highly respected lawyer, a barrister from North Wales. He was known, a public figure in his circles. And get this is the unbelievable part. He had actually written for the Sunday Chronicle himself. So you can imagine, when his friends and colleagues read this piece about an Artemus Jones misbehaving, they didn't think, oh, funny story. They thought it was a juicy exposé about the man they knew. Just like that, his reputation took a nosedive. Yeah. As you can imagine, Mr. Jones was not happy. Not happy at all. He sued the newspaper for libel, and this set the stage for a legal showdown that would really dig into what defamation even means.
The whole case really boiled down to one thing. On one side, you have the newspaper saying, hey, this was an honest mistake. We had zero intention of hurting this guy. We didn't even know he was real. But on the other side, Mr. Jones's argument was just as clear. Look, your intention doesn't matter one bit when my reputation is being destroyed. People think it's me, and the damage is real.
Now, this was not some simple open and shut case. No way. It was such a big deal that it went all the way up to the House of Lords, which at the time was the highest court in the entire United Kingdom. The whole publishing world was holding its breath.
And after hearing all the arguments from both sides, the court finally made its decision.
The newspaper was found liable. Even though they had no intention to harm anyone, they were legally on the hook for defaming Mr. Jones. This verdict sent absolute shockwaves through the media. I mean, how could they possibly be punished for a complete and total accident?
Well, the answer comes down to this legal idea called strict liability. What it means, basically, is that you're responsible for the results of your actions, no matter what you intended to do. In this case, because publishing the article caused damage, the publisher was liable. End of story.
Lord Loreburn, the head judge, put it perfectly. He said the test isn't what the writer was thinking in their own head. The test is what a reasonable person reading it would think. And since Mr. Jones's friends reasonably thought the article was about him, the newspaper was guilty. What they intended didn't matter at all.
So this wasn't just about one man and one newspaper. The decision in this case, Hulton versus Jones, created a legacy that stretches all the way from that 1908 courtroom right into the movie theater you were in last weekend.
So this case pretty much established that in libel law, what matters is the effect of your words, not what you meant by them. It put this huge new responsibility on publishers, making them accountable even for pure random coincidences. Now, this rule was so harsh, it eventually led to some legal reforms, but its most obvious impact is something you've probably seen hundreds of times and never thought twice about.
That's right. After this verdict, anyone creating fiction, authors, filmmakers, you name it, was terrified of another Artemus Jones situation. They needed some way to protect themselves. And that need led directly to a very specific and now very famous legal warning.
And there it is.
You know that sentence, the one at the start of a book or buried in the movie credits. It exists for one reason: to prevent another accidental libel lawsuit. It is a legal shield that was born directly from the bizarre, unlucky story of Thomas Artemus Jones.
So, this all leaves us with one final thought. Think about our world today. With AI that can create stories in a split second, deepfakes that can circle the globe instantly, does this century-old idea that the impact matters more than the intent become more important now than ever before? It's definitely something to chew on. Thanks for watching.